Good morning, good morning. Hope you guys are all well. Let's wait for a few people to pop up. It's the 7th of April. 7th of April, we're almost drawing to the end of the first week. Is it the first week? Oh, you can pretty much say it's the first week of April. Okay, just see for the first people to just pop up this morning. Because there is something, daar is iets op my hart vanoggend wat ek met julle oor wil praat. It's baie na in my heart. There we go. Good morning, good morning. Okay, so as you all know, I've been a little bit quiet today. Well, quiet for the past few days. I put a lot of energy in last week with regards to the proposed Health Act, should I say. Please don't stop with that. Please continue to send in your comments with regards to what your opinions are and whether you actually agree with the proposed Health Act. We do only have up until the 14th, 15th of April, as you all know. And if you listen to the State of the Nation address that was brought to us earlier on in this week, you know, he did say that they will take the comments into consideration, but that the Health Act will come into effect, blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah. So, I don't want to focus on the Health Act. That's not why I'm jumping up on right now. Good morning, Brian. Morning, Sonia. Morning, Lynette. Morning, everybody. The reason why I'm jumping on this morning is because of our kids. Okay, you all know I'm a mother. I have 3 beautiful children. I'm actually very proud to say that my eldest will be turning 21 very, very soon. And this has made me really rethink a lot of things. And I'd really like to bring this to you guys today. We are so caught up in the truth movement, in bringing the information out, in discussing everything that's happening locally and globally. We speak amongst one another, we speak amongst family, amongst friends, amongst peers, amongst organizations, groups, so on and so forth. But I think sometimes we tend to look around our households, or we tend to forget to look around our households. We forget to look at who's listening. We forget to look at the little faces of the little people that's moving around us. And I'm not referring to my eldest. I'm referring, majority of my conversation, I'm referring to my little ones. I've got a almost 9 and almost 10-year-old. And they are aware of mommy. I mean, they always say, oh, your truth be told work. Oh, your truth be told this. Oh, your truth be told that. And what do they hear? What do they see? Now, I know what they hear from my side because I'm a very outspoken person because I stand in my truth. And what I say, I will say in front of my children, and I will say in front of anybody else in this world. I will not back down because I firmly believe in what it is that I say. Of course, I keep the gory details to a minimal in front of them, or at least I try. But they are fully aware of the fact that we are enslaved. They are fully aware of the fact that what is happening in the system is not right. I have informed them of certain things. I've said to them that if anyone comes close to you with a pot of Vaseline, thank you, Benita, that you run. You make a complete, jy gaan aan soos 'n mal mens en jy hardloop. My ma het nee gesê, jy bly weg van my af met daai goeters. Okay, so they're aware of those things. When it comes to things like human trafficking and when they start moving babies around and organs around and adrenochrome and all those lovely little things, those things I do not discuss around my kids. But when they're aware of things like the economy and they're aware of the things like the extreme prices that's going up with oil and petrol and all those things, the kids hear these things. They're aware of these things. But what are we relaying to our kids? What are we projecting onto our children? Now, I had a discussion with my husband recently. We were having a lovely little chat out in the sun on a Sunday morning with our cups of coffee. And I said to him, as a family unit, okay, as a husband and a wife, generally in a healthy relationship, in a healthy marriage, you sit and you discuss. You discuss things with regards to your budget. You discuss things with regards to, okay, sweetie, we need to sort this out. We need to sort that out. We've only got this amount of money for that. We've only got that amount of money for that. That is how it generally works, okay? As soon as those things start getting affected negatively, it starts affecting your marriage. It starts affecting your relationship. If you have a really strong marriage, if you have a really good relationship with your partner, you guys are able to sit and you guys are able to discuss these things amicably. But what about those units where there might be difficulties within a marriage? Where it might be a marriage that suffers certain shortcomings, because that happens. There are relationships where people battle with substance abuse, where people battle with depression, where people battle with not knowing how to handle certain situations. I am so blessed and so thankful for the marriage that I have with my husband, for having such an amazing, amazing partner. I always say to him, baby, it's me and you against the world, because that's how it is. But not everybody has that. Now, if you don't have that, and you are fighting the system, and you are fighting the world, because that's in actuality, that is what's happening. You have to keep your home built strong so that you can face what is outside those doors. And you have kids within your four walls. You have to remain strong, vigilant, together as a team to fight what is outside those doors. And you have to do that in strength and in love and in faith. Because if you don't, what is going to happen to your children? How is that going to portray on them? Can you imagine the stress, the emotional trauma? What are you telling your kids? How are you being a model for your children during these tough times? It's so important to actually look at those things, because we tend to forget, how are these things affecting our kids? How are we explaining these things to our children? How are we managing our stress as a unit, as two people that come together as this team against all this tyranny, so that we can be strong for our children? Are we discussing these things with our kids? Are we explaining to them with regards to the masks? Are we explaining to them, oh, guess what? Now you don't have to wear masks outside anymore, but it's important to still wear them inside. So we need to seriously look into how we are handling the situations with our kids. How are we relaying the information to them? Are you going to raise your kids? And I'm not telling anyone how to raise their kids. Please understand me correctly. But are we going to raise our kids to just be slaves to the systems? Is that what we're going to do? Are we going to get our kids to be these little enter to learn, leave to serve robots? Is that what you're going to do? Or are you going to raise your kids to ask questions? Are you going to have such a good grounding at home with your kids and explain to them what is actually happening? Answer the questions that they have in truth, so that they are better equipped when they go out there, when they go out of those front doors, instead of them just going, ja en amen vir alles wat vir hulle gesê word. Maar mama, hoekom moet ek dit doen? Hoekom moet ek daai doen? Nee, want die president het so gesê. Is that how we want to raise the next generation? Is that the legacy that we want to leave behind? Because that's not the legacy I am leaving behind. I would like my children to ask questions, not to be defiant. There's a difference. Now, where the difficult part comes in is that many people in authoritative positions will turn around and they will say, you are being defiant because you are questioning my authority. And that's why it's so important for parents to come together and for parents to explain to their children how to ask the questions, for it to come from a place of love and kindness, not for it to come from a place of defiance. You are not to be defiant, because how is that being kind? How is that being humble? There is nothing wrong with asking questions. There is nothing wrong with needing to understand, why do I need to do this and this and this? Oh, because so-and-so said so. Thank you, I appreciate that. But could you please explain to me why? What is the reason behind it? I'm just trying to understand. We should not be raising a bunch of mindless, empty vessels moving through the system that can easily be controlled. But the only way that we can do that is when we as a family unit, when we are as one, when we are managing our stress correctly, when we come together and we give one another the support that we need, when we listen to one another, the stress levels, I don't think it's ever been this high. Yes, you are going to fight. As a unit, you are going to fight, you are going to get frustrated, you are going to want to hide things from your husband because predominantly, and I'm not saying this in any negative way, please do not understand me incorrectly, but predominantly the wife is the one that's going to quite possibly sort out the finances and make sure this and this and this is paid. And yes, honey, I sorted this out and I sorted that out. Don't worry. Speak to one another. Explain to him, you know what, babes, I couldn't get to this and I couldn't get to that, and we've got a bit of a situation here and a bit of a situation there. Communication is key, especially now, because it's going to eat at you. If you do not communicate, if you do not put all your cards on the table, it will eat at you. It will cause a wedge, and you are not going to be a unit, and you will not be able to be there for your children the way that you need to be during this time. Because yes, it's going to get more difficult, but wouldn't it be better if we are functioning as a unit and if we are fighting this war together than as individuals? Because we can't do it as individuals. We have to do it together. I'm always speaking to you guys about how important it is to have a community and to have people that can support you, and we all need to come together and be unified, etc., etc., etc. But unity starts at home. Unity starts between the husband and the wife, or the partners that are together. That is where it starts. And if your homes are split, that is fine as well. But it's important as parents of the children to discuss these things with your kids. Explain to them what is going on. Whatever your truth is, relay that to them. But ensure that you understand whatever you are relaying to your children have consequences. Think about whether what you are planting into their mind, that is going to grow into a beautiful tree, and that tree is going to have huge amount of leaves. They think about all these amazing things. You are going to be the person that's going to add soil to that. What is the tree that you want to plant? What is the soil and all the feeding and stuff that you want to put onto that for them? We have to start looking after our families at home. It's so important. We have to communicate with one another. We need to keep those lines of communication open. Speak to your husband. Speak to your wife. Now is truly the time to come together as one. So, my kids have asked me a couple of really strange questions. And, some of the questions is, why don't we listen? Why aren't we excited when the president speaks? Or why don't we just listen to everything that he says and follow what he says? And Mom, you were very excited in the beginning when the president spoke, and now you're not that excited. What's going on there? What's happening with that? So I've explained to them that sometimes when people say something, what they do is completely different to what they say. So actions are a lot more important than what people say. But when you say something like that to start off with, you need to be able to do exactly the same. So again, it's entirely up to you guys what it is that you guys want to do. But this is only really logic if you think about it. The divorce rates have gone up. Sadly, the suicide rates have also gone up. And this has happened because people aren't communicating and because people aren't supporting one another. I promise you, if you just speak to one another, it'll be okay. Once you speak to one another, the worst is over. It's all just fueled by fear, yet again. All of this is fueled by fear. And once you take that away, all of it's okay. There are going to be obstacles. There's meant to be obstacles, but you can overcome it. If you come together as a unit, together you guys can overcome it. But you can't do this on your own. It's not going to help you hide indiscretions or you hide information. That stuff's not going to go away. I promise you, it's not going to go away. It's going to get worse. And if you can't tell each other everything now, when are you going to? The prices of everything is going through the roof. It's going to affect your pocket. Finances, it's probably the biggest reason for most marriages to fall apart. And the only reason why is because people aren't communicating about it. What example is that setting for your children? You can't play pretend in your home because that is the one place where everything should be able to be out in the open. It's okay to not be able to afford everything. It's okay to say to your kids, you know what? I cannot buy that for you right now because we can't afford that right now. It's okay. That's fine. Your pride and wanting to give your child everything material-wise that you possibly can is not as important as a bond that you're going to need with your family right now. Learning to communicate is a lot more important than having the latest of everything and ensuring that you can have this front of pretending that your bank balance is fine and you can afford to go here and you can afford to go there and you've got the best of this and the best of that. I promise you guys, communication and a good foundation in your family is a lot more valuable. So that is my little input on our children. You do not want to raise a bunch of empty vessels that attach their value to material things when their family unit is based on everything that is fabricated around fakeness, especially now. Hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I hope this little insert makes a little bit of a difference. Much love.